unveil May 4th. Yay! And yeah, so this is a 10.1-inch TFT display with 1200 by 1920 resolution. That's about 224 pixels per inch. Sony is kind of known by, to a large degree, at least in the TV set world, for their great displays.
Absolutely.
And this kind of follows into that. The display is powered by their triluminous display for mobile, which they've been doing triluminous displays in TVs for quite a while. I'm not sure I completely understand exactly the science behind it.
Do you see any kind of difference with the
Well, I see a vibrance. There's definitely a certain
okay.
vibrance to the screen. Things are really punchy. It's kind of similar to what you might see in Super AMOLED displays, where when you take a look at a Super AMOLED display, things just kind of seem to pop out a little bit more. And you definitely get that through this display.
Ooh.
They also have an X reality setting for the screen. They put a lot of time and focus, obviously, into the screen, and that's kind of one of the big selling points here, and they totally deliver on that. Just the viewing angles are fantastic. You can go off axis on this, and it's pretty great. Outside viewing, like in bright sunlight, like especially today because we're super sunny outside, it can get it's pretty good if you ramp it all the way up, but of course that comes at the cost of battery, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, the screen's fantastic. My only complaint really is, and I don't know if this is the screen technology or what it is, but touch responsiveness. There were a lot of times where if I tap at what I'm used to tapping on my phone, or the pressure that I tap on my tablets at home, sometimes it just wouldn't register the tap. And I'm not sure if it's me or if it's the tablet, but it happened regularly throughout the course of the week.
Okay.
Haven't seen any other reviewers really point that out. So it could be just me. And of course, now that I'm trying to replicate it, I can't. So
of course,
maybe it's not a big
deal.
Now. The big selling point here, I reviewed the Z1 tablet last year, and again, it's very similar in the sense that it's super thin and light. I mean, this thing is ridiculously thin and light. 6.4 millimeters thick. That's 0.5 millimeters thinner than the Z1. And the Z1 was pretty darn thin as well. Here you go.
Wow. I was expecting it to be heavier, but it's just
it's almost like a stack of paper.
Throw it like a frisbee.
It's almost like you're carrying around a tiny little stack.
It weighs less than
paper.
my couponing binder.
There you go. See, and that's pretty light.
Yeah, it's very light.
But yeah, so obviously it has that going for it. It's IP58, IP58, which is dust and water resistant. So as a result, you had to kind of be okay with the fact that some of these ports are closed.
They're covered.
They're covered. Which isn't my favorite thing in the world. Having said that,
I don't mind it, but I have nails.
Right, okay, so nails definitely help, and they have a little bit of a notch in there so you can get under it. It kind of sucks when you want to plug something in really quick and you can't because the port cover's on it. But that's your trade-off, right? That's what makes it water resistant. We'll dunk it here in a second when I'm done talking about it. But so I like the design. They moved the speakers to the front. Oh, actually, I have it upside down here. They moved the speakers down here to the front, these tiny little notches. On the previous model, you'd cover the speaker with your palm. Now it kind of faces forward, which is a little bit better. Good. Let's see here. IR blaster on the top, so you can work it. I mean, you can pretty much work this with almost anything that has a remote. It can learn if it isn't stored in their own database, and I'm telling you, there's a ton. Like, just pulling up our Samsung TVs has like 75 different remote configurations stored in there. So finding the right one was difficult.
Right.
But even if you couldn't, you could learn your own, and it makes a good kind of living room companion for that regard. Performance was fantastic. This is a quad-core 2.3 gigahertz Snapdragon 801. So that's a great processor there. 16 gigs of internal storage on this device. You can also get 32 gigs.
Not bad.
32 gig is $600. 16 gig is $500 basically.
Okay.
So, and then you do have your micro SD card if you want to go up to 64 additional gigs. I think where it kind of falls apart for me a little bit is the camera, and I don't hold it too much against it because tablets and cameras.
When has a tablet ever
that.
had a good camera?
Yeah, you kind of get used to that. We're beaten down at this point.
Pretty much.
from tablet cameras. But if you want to show just a couple of the samples there, Brian, it's an 8.1 megapixel rear-facing camera and 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera. So I got some good pictures in good light. That was low light, and I thought that was reasonable. It was okay considering. But you just see most of the pictures that I took.
That's in the studio, so it's
That's
nice
in
and
the
bright.
studio. Very nice lighting, very washed out. This was outside, not very
It almost
good.
looks like somebody had smudged the
Yeah, and
camera
I checked, I made sure. It has some software features like background blurring. Here you can see it didn't take so well. On the next one, It actually worked pretty well. I had to be super close to that object with the tablet in order to do it. It was almost more trouble than it was worth. You know, other things like mirror effect, which as you can see, it didn't focus very well. Panorama, this didn't actually turn out on the TriCaster. That's okay, it's scaling it. And yeah, there you go, front-facing camera. You've got that nice front-facing blur, but it's probably good for, you know, your calls, I guess.
So what about the battery? You said that
battery's great, actually. I had yes, it performed very well for me. Excellent standby, actually, as well. They do include stamina mode. You know, they have some of their software features. Stamina mode, which disables Wi-Fi and mobile when the screen is off. And then you actually have a list that you can manage with exceptions to that.
Okay.
So you can kind of say, no, these apps are still updating in the background. That's cool. Also has a low battery mode that allows you to customize the ways that the tablet saves battery when it's below 20%.
Nice video you got there, by the way.
There we go.
Nice video you got there. Now, what software are we using? It's Android?
It is. It's 4.4.2 KitKat. It's skinned, but you know, I'd say more than anything, it's lightly skinned. It's, you know, if you are true to KitKat, you know, Google's version of KitKat, you're going to see a little bit of the difference. But for the most part, I felt like it didn't get in the way. You know what I mean?
That touch here thing up at the top is driving me nuts. I don't know about you, but
oh, for some reason I blocked it out. Anyone I've showed it to, though, that's the first thing they did is touch that, and of course, yeah, it takes you through to Sony's built-in stuff.
I kind of want to see you.
So you want to see it in the dunk tank?
I do, yeah.
We might as well. We don't get a chance to drown our technology.
It's really fun to put things in water.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1, and
yay!
Oh. And it's in there, it's still, oh no, it's flickering. No, it's not, it's fine.
So it still works.
Yeah, it's still, I hope it still
And then
works.
it dies.
And there we go. I do know, you know, it's touch resistant, not, water resistant, not waterproof. Yeah. So it's probably not gonna work that well when there's water on the screen. It's gonna register as touches, but there you go.
But you can accidentally drop it in your gigantic toilet and
you can take it to the beach. You can take a bath with it if that's your thing.
You'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
What are your pros and cons?
Pros, obviously the display is fantastic. It's thin and light. That's kind of its thing. Performs alongside the best tablets. I mean, the performance was fantastic. Gaming and all that, very good. And then of course, resistant to water and dust, as I just showed off. Cons, I would say I have to mention touch sensitivity because for me it kept popping up, but it might not be a deal breaker, and it might just be this device, to be honest. And then camera, there's no denying that the camera is not that great for a tablet, but all in all, I'd say unless the camera on a tablet is really important to you, I'd say it's a buy.
You can find out more about this fantastic offer by clicking the link in the description.